If I were to ask you right now in this very moment, what is the one thing your heart longs for the most? Many of us would say different things. Some would say certainty. Some would say love. Some would say relief. Some would say answers. But if we dig beneath all of those layers, if we peel away the labels, what the heart is really asking for is peace. Not the kind of peace that depends on everything going your way. Not the kind that collapses the moment life disappoints you. But a peace that remains when the ground shakes, when the people leave, when the plan falls apart, when the prayer is delayed, when the heart feels heavy for reasons it cannot even name. And yet, most of us are chasing peace in the loudest places. We are running after it in outcomes, in people, in achievements, in control. We say, I will be calm when this problem is solved. I will be at peace when they change. I will feel okay when I finally get what I want. And so peace becomes something postponed, something conditional, something always just out of reach. But what if I told you that calmness and peace were never meant to be the reward at the end of life's trials? What if they were meant to be the ground you stand on while walking through them? The reason so many of us feel constantly unsettled is not because our lives are uniquely chaotic. It is because our hearts have been trained to anchor themselves to things that were never meant to hold them. We are asking the fragile to give us stability, the temporary to give us permanence, the creation to give us what only the Creator can give. Peace does not come from the absence of storms. Peace comes from knowing where to stand when the storm arrives. There is a quiet truth that we often resist. Life will never be fully calm on the outside. There will always be something unresolved, someone disappointed, something uncertain. If your inner state is dependent on external order, then your heart will always be at war. But if your heart learns to anchor itself elsewhere, something extraordinary happens. The world can shake, and yet you remain. Calmness is not numbness. It is not denial. It is not pretending things don't hurt. True calmness is clarity. It is the ability to feel deeply without drowning. It is the strength to experience pain without losing your center. It is the quiet confidence that even when things are not okay, you will be okay. Most of our anxiety comes from one core illusion, the belief that we are in control. And when life inevitably reminds us that we are not, we panic, we grip tighter, we obsess, we replay, we overthink, we catastrophize. We exhaust ourselves trying to manage outcomes that were never placed in our hands to begin with. There is a profound difference between responsibility and control. You are responsible for your intentions, your efforts, your choices, your character. You are not responsible for results. The moment you confuse the two, your peace becomes hostage to forces beyond you. Staying calm in every situation begins with learning how to let go without giving up. Letting go of control does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never yours to carry. It means you show up fully, sincerely, and then you release the outcome back to the one who sees what you cannot see. So much of our inner turmoil comes from arguing with reality. We say, this shouldn't be happening. They shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't feel this way. But reality does not change because we resist it. Resistance only multiplies pain. Acceptance, on the other hand, is not approval. It is alignment with truth. It is saying, this is what is. Now, how do I respond in a way that brings me closer to peace rather than further from it? There is a kind of calm that only comes when you stop fighting the moment you are in. The heart was not designed to be scattered across 1,000 fears and regrets. It was designed to be centered. When the heart is centered, it becomes still, even when life is loud. But when the heart is scattered, even silence becomes overwhelming. Ask yourself, where is your heart resting? Not where you want it to rest, not where you think it should rest, but where it actually rests. Is it resting in people, in approval, in outcomes, in plans, in timelines, in expectations, because wherever the heart rests, that is where its peace will rise or fall. This is why disappointment hurts so deeply. It is not just the loss of something. It is the collapse of a place where the heart had been leaning. We don't just lose the thing, we lose the sense of safety we thought it would give us. To stay calm in every situation, the heart must be trained to rest in something unshakable, not in what changes, not in what leaves, not in what fails, but in what remains when everything else falls away. There is a quiet kind of strength that comes when you realize that nothing in this world is permanent, and that was never a flaw. It was a signpost. Everything temporary is pointing you toward something eternal. Everything fragile is reminding you not to build your peace upon it. When you expect permanence from what is temporary, you will always feel anxious. When you expect perfection from what is human, you will always feel disappointed. When you expect control over what is divinely decreed, you will always feel afraid. Calmness grows when expectations are realigned. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What is this teaching me?" The first question traps you in resistance. The second opens the door to meaning. And meaning has a way of soothing the heart even in pain. Pain without meaning feels unbearable. Pain with meaning becomes transformative. There is a kind of peace that comes when you trust that nothing enters your life randomly, that every encounter, every delay, every loss, every detour carries wisdom, even if that wisdom is hidden for now. Trust does not remove the pain, but it gives the pain a place to rest. Many of us want calmness without surrender. We want peace while still gripping tightly to how things should be. But the heart cannot be both clenched and calm at the same time. You cannot hold on and let go simultaneously. Surrender is not weakness. It is alignment. It is the moment the heart says, "I will do my part and I will trust you to do yours." And when the heart makes that shift, something loosens, something softens. The constant inner noise begins to quiet. One of the reasons we feel so overwhelmed is because we are living everywhere except the present moment. We are replaying the past or rehearsing the future. We are grieving what already happened or fearing what might happen. Rarely are we fully here. And peace only exists in the present. The past cannot be changed. The future cannot be controlled. But the present can be inhabited. And when you learn to return to the present again and again, you will find that most of the time you are actually safe right now, breathing right now, held right now. Calmness is cultivated through presence. There is a sacred discipline in learning how to pause, to breathe before reacting, to respond rather than explode, to slow down the moment when emotions surge and say, "Let me choose what kind of person I want to be in this moment." You will never be able to control what you feel initially. Emotions are visitors. They arrive without permission, but you can choose how long they stay and how much power they have. Calmness is not the absence of emotion, it is mastery over reaction. Ask yourself in moments of chaos, what is being asked of me right now? Not what do I feel like doing? Not what would satisfy my anger or fear, but what response aligns with who I want to become. Peace grows when your responses are guided by values rather than impulses. There is a profound calm that comes from knowing your worth is not on trial, that every mistake does not define you, that every failure is not a verdict. When your self-worth is anchored in something stable, criticism loses its power to devastate you, and praise loses its power to inflate you. Much of our anxiety comes from living as though we are constantly being evaluated by people, by outcomes, by life itself. But when you know who you are, you don't need every situation to validate you. Inner peace is deeply connected to self-compassion. The way you speak to yourself matters. The way you interpret your struggles matters. A heart that is constantly at war with itself will never find calm in the outside world. Speak to yourself with mercy. Treat yourself as someone entrusted to you, not someone you must punish into perfection. Staying calm does not mean you never feel shaken. It means you know how to return to center when you are shaken. It means you have an inner compass that guides you back when emotions pull you off course. One of the greatest sources of calm is knowing that you are never alone in your struggle, that every tear is seen, that every prayer, even the silent ones, are heard, that you do not have to carry the weight of the world by yourself. There is a peace that comes when you stop narrating your life as a series of losses and start seeing it as a journey of becoming. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not failing at life. You are being shaped. Every challenge is chiseling something within you. Every hardship is refining your inner world. And while growth can be painful, it is not purposeless. Calmness grows when you trust the process. Even when you don't understand the path, the heart was never meant to be a storage space for resentment, fear, and regret. These emotions are heavy. They exhaust you. They drain your capacity to be present. Forgiveness, trust, and hope are not just virtues. They are acts of self-preservation. Holding on to anger does not protect you. It poisons you. Clinging to fear does not prepare you. It paralyzes you. Living in regret does not honor the past. It traps you there. Letting go is not forgetting. It is freeing yourself from carrying what no longer serves you. Peace does not mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes meaningful. It means even in difficulty, you are grounded. Even in uncertainty, you are steady. Even in pain, you are not lost. There is a deep calm that emerges when you realize that not everything requires your reaction. Not every comment deserves your energy. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every door that closes is meant to be forced open. Discernment is a form of peace. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. You do not have to prove yourself to everyone who doubts you. You do not have to explain your journey to those who are not walking it. Choose where you invest your emotional energy. Protect your inner space. Peace is not passive, it is guarded. When life feels overwhelming, return to what is simple. Return to breath. Return to gratitude. Return to remembrance. Complexity fuels anxiety. Simplicity restores balance. Sometimes calmness is found not in adding more, but in removing what clutters the heart. There is a reason the heart finds peace in remembrance, because remembrance re-centers the soul. It reminds you who is in control. It reminds you where help comes from. It reminds you that you are held even when you feel uncertain. A heart connected to something greater than itself does not collapse under pressure. It bends, but it does not break. Staying calm in every situation does not mean you will never feel afraid. It means fear will no longer be your master. It means anxiety will no longer dictate your choices. It means you move through life with trust rather than tension. Calmness is cultivated in small, consistent ways. In the moments you choose patience over panic, in the moments you choose faith over fear, in the moments you choose presence over projection. Over time, these choices shape your inner world, and your inner world shapes how you experience everything else. The most peaceful people are not those with the least problems. They are those with the deepest trust. They are those who have learned where to place their hearts. And when the heart is placed correctly, even chaos cannot steal its peace. Peace is often misunderstood as a reward that comes after life finally settles down, after the problem is solved, after the relationship is fixed, after the uncertainty disappears. But this understanding places peace at the mercy of circumstances, making it fragile and conditional. True calmness was never meant to depend on a quiet life. It was meant to come from a quiet heart. When peace is anchored in external conditions, it rises and falls with them. A good day brings relief, a bad day brings collapse. This is why so many people feel emotionally exhausted because their inner stability is tied to things that were never stable to begin with. People change, plans unravel, health fluctuates, doors open and close without warning. If the heart is resting on these things, it will constantly be shaken. Peace becomes durable only when it is rooted in something unshakable. When the heart learns where to stand, it no longer needs life to behave a certain way in order to feel safe. This does not mean the heart stops feeling pain or disappointment. It means those experiences no longer dismantle the soul from within. The storm may rage, but the foundation holds. This is the difference between a heart that is attached and a heart that is anchored. Attachment clings with fear, needing outcomes to validate its sense of safety. Anchoring rests with trust, knowing that even if the outcome is lost, the heart itself is not lost. Much of our unrest comes from leaning too heavily on what was never meant to carry us. We lean on people to make us whole, on success to make us worthy, on certainty to make us calm. And when those supports fail, we feel betrayed by life itself. But the betrayal is not from life. It is from misplaced reliance. Peace was never promised through control, predictability, or permanence in this world. It was promised through connection, surrender, and trust. When the heart shifts its dependence away from what changes and toward what remains, something profound happens. Fear loosens its grip. Anxiety no longer dominates every decision. Loss hurts, but it does not hollow you out. Anchoring the heart requires an internal realignment. It asks the heart to release its demand that life prove itself safe before it agrees to be calm. It invites the soul to rest even while questions remain unanswered. This kind of peace is not passive, it is deeply courageous. It chooses trust over panic and meaning over despair. It understands that stability does not come from holding everything together, but from knowing who is holding you. When peace is anchored correctly, hardship no longer feels like a personal attack. Difficulty becomes part of the journey rather than a sign of failure. The heart stops asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begins to say, "I am held even here." And it is in that quiet realization that calmness stops being temporary and begins to live within you, steady-rooted and unafraid. So much of our suffering is not born from what happens to us, but from our refusal to accept what has already happened. There is a quiet war that begins inside the heart the moment it says, "This should not be happening." The mind replays the event, rewrites the story, imagines alternative endings, and resists the present reality with everything it has. But reality does not bend to our resistance. It simply remains, and the longer we argue with it, the more pain we create within ourselves. Resistance does not undo the moment, it multiplies its weight. Acceptance is often misunderstood as weakness or approval, but it is neither. Acceptance is not saying that what happened was good or fair. It is saying that it is real. It is the heart choosing to stop fighting what already exists and instead redirect its energy toward response rather than rebellion. When the heart accepts reality, it regains its power. It moves out of helplessness and into clarity. Only when we face what is can we decide how to move forward with wisdom. Much of inner chaos comes from living in denial of the present moment. We stay stuck in questions that have no answers, replaying the same pain over and over, hoping that if we think about it long enough, it will change. But peace does not come from solving the past. It comes from releasing it. The past does not need your constant attention. It needs your understanding and your mercy. When the heart stops demanding that yesterday be different, it creates space for today to be lived fully. Acceptance opens the door to meaning. When we stop asking why something should not have happened, we begin to ask what this moment is teaching us. This shift transforms pain into insight. It allows hardship to shape us rather than shatter us. Without acceptance, suffering feels random and cruel. With acceptance, it becomes part of a larger story of growth, refinement, and transformation. Meaning does not erase pain, but it gives it a place to rest. There is also acceptance of the self. Many people resist their own emotions, judging themselves for feeling hurt, angry, or afraid. This inner rejection deepens the wound. Peace grows when the heart allows itself to feel without condemnation. Emotions are signals, not enemies. They are invitations to understand what is happening within. When we accept our inner state, we can tend to it with care rather than violence. Acceptance is the bridge between chaos and calm. It is the moment the heart stops exhausting itself by pushing against reality and begins to flow with it. From this place, responses become wiser, choices become clearer, and the soul regains its balance. Life does not become easier, but the heart becomes steadier. And in that steadiness, peace quietly takes root, not because everything is perfect, but because the heart has learned how to stand in truth without breaking. The heart rarely loses peace because of what is happening right now. It loses peace because it has traveled somewhere else. It has gone back to a moment that cannot be changed or forward to a future that has not arrived. It replays old conversations, regrets past choices, and imagines worst-case scenarios that may never happen. In doing so, it abandons the only place where calm actually exists, the present moment. Anxiety feeds on absence, on the heart being anywhere but here. The past carries lessons, but it cannot carry us. The future holds possibilities, but it cannot hold us either. When the heart tries to live in these places, it becomes ungrounded. It feels unsafe not because danger is present, but because awareness is fractured. Presence gathers the heart back into one place. It returns the soul to its body, to its breath, to the now. And in the now, most of the time, we are breathing, alive, and held. Calmness grows when we learn how to return. Return to the breath when the mind races. Return to awareness when fear pulls you forward. Return to gratitude when regret pulls you backward. These returns do not require perfection or silence or escape from life. They require intention, a willingness to pause, even briefly, and notice where you are. The simple act of noticing has the power to steady the heart. Presence does not mean the absence of thought. It means not being owned by thought. Thoughts will come, memories will surface, worries will knock. But you do not have to follow every thought to its conclusion. You can observe without attaching, acknowledge without spiraling. When you stop rehearsing the future and relitigating the past, the heart regains its strength. It no longer wastes energy on what it cannot change or control. Many people believe peace will come once they have answers, but peace often comes before answers, when the heart learns how to sit with uncertainty without collapsing. The present moment is where this resilience is built. When you stay here, you discover that you can survive unanswered questions. You can breathe through discomfort. You can exist without clarity and still be whole. There is a sacred simplicity to the present. It strips life down to what is essential. Right now, you are alive. Right now, you are breathing. Right now, there is an opportunity to choose how you respond. This simplicity is grounding. It quiets the inner noise created by constant prediction and regret. Calmness is not found in anticipating every outcome, but in trusting yourself to meet whatever arrives. Presence trains this trust. Each time you return to now, you prove to yourself that you can stand in this moment without falling apart. And over time, these moments weave together into a deeper sense of stability. The heart stops running, stops racing, stops fleeing from imagined futures and unresolved pasts. It settles into the present, where peace has always been waiting, patient and unchanged. Peace does not disappear from our lives by accident. It is usually drained slowly through unguarded emotional spending. Every argument we engage in, every comparison we entertain, every expectation we cling to without wisdom takes something from the heart. Inner peace is not fragile by nature, but it is vulnerable when left unprotected. Just as the body requires boundaries to remain healthy, The heart requires intentional protection to remain calm. One of the most powerful acts of self-preservation is discernment. Not every situation deserves your reaction, and not every emotion deserves full expression. There is a quiet strength in choosing when to speak, and when to remain silent, when to engage, and when to step back. Reactivity feels urgent, but it often leads to regret. Response, on the other hand, is rooted in clarity. It asks the heart to pause and choose alignment over impulse. This pause is where peace is either preserved or lost. Many people exhaust themselves trying to be understood by everyone. They explain, justify, defend, and prove, believing that validation will bring relief. But peace does not come from convincing others of your worth. It comes from being anchored in it. When the heart knows who it is, it no longer panics at misunderstanding. It allows others to hold their perceptions without allowing those perceptions to define it. This release is not indifference, it is freedom. Protecting the heart also requires managing expectations. Expectations are not inherently harmful, but when they are unrealistic or unspoken, they become a source of disappointment and resentment. The heart begins to suffer not because people fail it, but because it demanded from them what they were never capable of giving. Peace grows when expectations are grounded in reality and softened by mercy. This does not mean settling for harm or neglect. It means recognizing human limitation and choosing where to invest emotional dependence wisely. Another essential element of guarding inner peace is self-compassion. Many hearts are under constant attack from within. Harsh self-talk, unrealistic standards, and relentless guilt create an inner environment of unrest. A heart that is constantly criticized will never feel safe. Peace begins to return when the inner voice shifts from punishment to understanding. This kindness does not excuse mistakes, it creates the conditions necessary for growth. Protecting peace also involves knowing when to let go. Holding on to resentment, fear, or past pain may feel like strength, but it quietly erodes the heart. Letting go is not forgetting or minimizing what happened. It is choosing not to allow it to control your present. Release is an act of courage. It frees emotional space and restores balance. Inner peace thrives in remembrance and gratitude. These practices anchor the heart beyond the noise of the world. They remind the soul of what truly matters and where stability lies.